Hydrogen Fuel Cells by Jamez, Aisha, and Brittany. What is hydrogen fuel cells? Hydrogen and oxygen enter the fuel cell, which then produces heat and water. This heat and water I just described then produce an electric current, which is used to power vehicles.
How is hydrogen converted into an electric source of energy? To describe the power from a hydrogen fuel cell and the process of converting hydrogen molecules into an energy source, I will divide the process into four parts. First, hydrogen molecules enter the cell and are separated into protons and electrons in the upper reaction layer. Protons from the hydrogen molecules begin to move across the membrane. Electrons then move around in the reaction layer, and this movement produces an electric current. Oxygen molecules then separate and combine with the protons and electrons I just described, which forms water in the lower reaction layer.
How much is used in our society? As you can see, the picture you see on the right is a hydrogen fuel cell car. So the hydrogen gas fuels the car, and then the hydrogen is mixed with oxygen and generates the motor and battery. Where do we see this technology being used today? It is being used in space shuttles and also other rockets to ship them into the orbit, and they are also found in flashlights and batteries in cars. For example, the crew they drink the clean byproduct, and also they use in their shuttles electrical systems.
Why is this energy source renewable? Hydrogen is very abundant. We only need to break water molecules so it gets separated from oxygen, which is very time consuming, but is very effective. Hydrogen cells are 80% effective in converting potential energy into electricity. An advantage of hydrogen fuel cells are it can act as an energy carrier and can potentially be a sustainable energy carrier. Energy carriers move and store and deliver energy in a form that can be easily used. And another advantage is hydrogen fuel cells do not produce harmful emissions. It reacts to oxygen without burning, so the energy it releases can be used to generate electricity. Hydrogen is non-toxic, therefore it can be used in ways that other fuels such as coal and gas can't. Hydrogen is a basic earth element and is very abundant, which means it's readily available when people need it. Compared to gas and other energy sources, hydrogen can produce more energy, which means it's fuel efficient.
Disadvantages. Hydrogen fuel cells are widely available, but also very expensive. The process for creating these cells involves separating elements, which is complicated. It is not relatively easy. Another disadvantage is that hydrogen fuel cells are highly flammable. Hydrogen is powerful and has heavy risk. It is addressed on the news often. The third disadvantage listed is that it is difficult to store. Hydrogen is not only hard to store, but also difficult to move around. Oil can be sent through pipelines, and coal can be easily carried on the back of trucks. Hydrogen is extremely expensive to move, even small amounts. This is why transporting and storing hydrogen fuel cells is possible, but basically impractical. Hydrogen cells also depend on fossil fuels. Even though one of the major points of switching to hydrogen is to get rid of fossil fuels, they are needed to actually produce hydrogen fuels. Coal, oil, and natural gas are all needed to separate hydrogen energy from oxygen. Where is this technology located? Hydrogen fuel in America is most common in places such as California, Texas, South Carolina, and other states that are not on the map titled hydrogen fueling stations. In the second image, the bright blue indicates where hydrogen fuels are located in the world. I am not sure if you have noticed, but when you look at these maps and see the states and countries who have access to hydrogen fuel cells, you will also notice that these are areas that are wealthier or more developed. Hydrogen fuel cells are very expensive, which is why they aren't very popular.